Let me ask you a question. What poses a more security risk? A robot with a goddamn flamethrower or dancing people on TikTok?
Welcome to the Not Null Podcast. I'm just an AI voice. But here are your real hosts, Kevin Doyle, Bobby Davis, Paul Bratzlavsky, and Sarah Kimmel.
Hey everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of the Not Null Podcast, the tech podcast where we discuss everything from AI breakthroughs to VR's new realities. I'm Kevin Doyle, and this week I am joined by Sarah Kimmel, Paul Bratzlavsky, and Bobby Davis. Coming up in this episode, Meta is launching Horizon OS. We're going to revisit the latest on the US TikTok ban. And we're also going to revisit the Robodog Flamethrower, which is now on sale. And then we'll wrap up with our null, not null recommendation section. Meta is looking to become the Microsoft of the metaverse, / mixed reality, whatever you want to call it, if you're not comfortable using the metaverse terminology these days. But they're looking to become the Microsoft of that by launching the Meta Horizon OS. So this is their operating system that they currently use on their Quest hardware. They are opening it up and allowing other third-party hardware developers to use their software on their hardware. And they're saying that they're launching with, or they're putting out there that 3 companies so far are going into this. Asus, using their Republic of Gaming, their ROG platform, is supposed to be going to be launching some kind of gaming headset, which I'm hoping is going to be awesome. Lenovo have said they're going to launch some kind of productivity headset using this OS. And then the third one, which is more of a co-brand, but Xbox, they said they're going to launch a limited edition Quest / Microsoft Xbox headset. I'm guessing it's going to be, they haven't really said, but it looks like it's probably going to have a controller bundled and maybe like Game Pass, because you can Game Pass on the Quest right now. But it's the image that they showed, it's going to be maybe black and green, like Xbox branding, right, instead of the white one, which could be cool. I could be convinced that's cool. All of these headsets are going to use a Qualcomm Snapdragon processors, just like the Quest 3 does. All platforms will also have the Meta Quest Store, which is rebranding to the Meta Horizon Store. So they really like this Horizon name at Meta. So it's the Meta Horizon Store, and it's going to be the Meta Horizon OS. They're really all in on this. Horizon is their name for their Horizon Worlds, by the way. That's their kind of 3D virtual, that's their metaverse, right? And that's what they call it. It's been called Horizon Worlds. This will also be allow for cross-platform social presence. So your avatar, your virtual worlds, those kind of things will be cross-platform. So if you have a Lenovo headset and somebody has an Asus headset and somebody has a Meta Quest headset, you could technically all meet in the metaverse using those 3 headsets because they're all on the same OS. So, Paul, what do you think? Do you like this move on Meta's part, seemingly basically to try and early play the Metaverse OS to try and own it?
I think they're doing a smart thing. They're trying to, like you said, trying to do like a land grab. If they could make it easier for developers to develop stuff and make it like cross-platform, if you will, because it's a shared OS, maybe it'll bring everybody together. And so I think it's a good move. I'm excited for it. Like, the only issue is if they have the majority of land ownership, it's like their land, their rules. So you kind of have to take Facebook with what it, what it is. It's like
it comes bundled.
Yeah,
it must
comes
be Facebook
bundled
too.
with baggage. It's like, this is going to be fun, but all these things I have to deal with. So.
That's true. It is. I agree with you. It's good that it's all going to come under one thing and it'll be cross-platform and it'll be great and there'll be a true like metaverse across different platforms. But the downside is, it's Meta. Not everybody likes Meta. For the longest time, you had to have a Facebook account to have a Quest, right?
Yeah.
They fixed that, but that was a problem. So,
I have mixed feelings about like Meta. Like, when it comes to like your favorite billionaires, I think like Mark's got to be my number one. Just because, he's done some bad things, probably not even human anyway, but he is releasing like Llama open source. He's doing like things that kind of seem cool, and he also, like, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. The fact he does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I'm like, that's going to wash away half the evil, so it's
plus he wears a gold chain these days. So
I think he's
cool.
Like, if you compare pictures from like 2 years of him to now, he's looking more human, and I appreciate it. And so like, it's building that trust back up. So I'm like, you know what? He's out of all the, like, is it like, the guy from Amazon, like SpaceX dude, or the guy from Facebook? Man,
I think the robot tech just got better. Paul.
Yeah.
That's why he looks more human.
Yeah, exactly. It's face swap. It's like you just replaced it. Yeah. But I'm excited. I am a big fan of like VR, everything, and AR. And I just love the fact that, I mean, I love Apple, but Apple Vision is not doing too great just because it's so expensive. And I'm glad that at least one company like Facebook is creating things that will continue to lead it into being adopted by more of like folks. And I think like they're doing the best thing they can. Like one thing I read about Meta is that like their units, they're literally selling them at a loss. Like they're subsidizing, the Meta 3s because, it just makes sense. And I like the fact that you're able to get into like VR experience at like a very good price. Like when I played with my like Meta 3, I play with it all the time. It's like, and I look at what Apple thing does, the price for $3,500 is just like makes zero sense for me. It's like, and I've been watching like these Apple reviews. It's like they start by like, you could either buy a used truck or buy like, and it was just insane. So I love that Meta is just making smart moves around VR.
I do think that they're smart here. This is one of those moves that are like obvious, but genius at the same time. If you look at gaming in particular, what makes gaming successful has been Windows. That's where all the games are at. And then there's a couple of obviously Xbox and PlayStations out there that are kind of separate. And you got the whole mobile gaming thing, which I don't count because I'm a hardcore gamer. So like Windows only, I think this is going to allow a AAA studio to make a game once and get it to more people. And that's what Steam has done, and MetaOS will do that. And I think that's what's brilliant. They are losing money hand over fist in the reality division, so they do need to make money this eventually.
Yep. I'm assuming this is a license fee of some kind to these third parties. That's what it's going to be.
Just like you license Windows to it.
Yep.
Yep. And then I was reading the article, and they were saying that one of the most hated pieces of software on the planet is Windows. Yet it's on 72% of the PCs in the US. So because software and this kind of thing. And I think this is a good move for them. They're taking the Windows playbook.
Yeah.
And they're just going to do it. And what keeps people from making VR games is it's like you only can make it once. How many people are going to use the Quest? And if you're like, okay, should I make a VR game or a desktop game? I've got, a good billion Steam users. I'm going to make a desktop game. And now if you can get a good billion VR users, you don't care who the headset is, and it works across all those headsets, I think it's good.
Yeah. For me, I like this idea of the third-party headsets coming along because while the Quest 3 is good, it's nowhere on par hardware-wise with the Apple device. And I get the Apple device is $3,500. We're talking about literally $3,000 more than a Quest 3, right? It's very, very expensive. But would I want something in down to Costco and buy a PC, or you can order a PC from NZXT. They both run Windows, but the game, and they're both on the same game, just one runs it at 200 frames a second and one runs it at 50 frames a second, right? They're running the same thing, and that's great, and you can cross-play those, but I want the one that's going to be like higher spec. I've always said that about the Quest stuff. I want to buy the latest one because its specs higher and it's going to look better. I just want the one that's going to look amazing, and I'm willing to spend $1,500 on it, let's say, somewhere in that middle bracket.
Yeah, and I like the fact that now that everybody will have a unified OS, like you said, people could build what they think will be more appropriate for users, where Apple, they're very opinionated. Like, forget playing games on Apple. Like, it's just never going to happen. So, like, a lot of the things that makes VR headsets cool, like, you're not going to get it from Apple. So I love the fact that we're going to have more competition, more opportunity, and hopefully more better VR games and experiences.
Even productivity apps, now if a company wants to release something, they can get a cheaper headset, even cheaper than the Quest probably. There'll be some knockoff headsets that come out that have this OS on it, and your app will work on it.
I'm wondering if like one of Meta's things though is going to be that maybe the Quest always has to be the cheapest. I have this feeling. I mean, the fact that they're partnering with both Asus and Lenovo out of the gate tells me those are going to be higher end headsets. The Lenovo one, they're saying for productivity. I'm guessing it's going to cost more than the $500 that the Quest is going to cost. I don't think there's going to be a low end one. I think Meta's going to want to own the low end market. They have it with the Quest 2 now, right? They still sell it. You still buy it for $200.
Yeah, maybe so, but I would imagine if you're going to license it, they'll sell you the license. You decide what your device is.
Maybe. Maybe.
Maybe not. I mean, I don't know. It's a good move with Xbox. I mean, them giving that brand recognition for the other console vendor.
Yeah.
And somehow, I don't know how it would work or why they're calling it Xbox. Definitely not.
Well, I think it's going to work the same way it works today. There's a Game
Yeah.
Pass subscription involved, and it runs in a 2D environment on a Game Pass, but they're going to bundle it with a controller and maybe a year's subscription. They're going to sell it for, instead of $500, it's going to be $600 or $650.
Somehow there's an emulator in that runs in Meta OS or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's gonna run it's gonna run exactly like a Quest is. I guarantee it. It's just gonna have the app preloaded on it. That's all it's gonna be. It's nothing you can't do with a regular Quest, is my guess. It's just gonna be black instead of white, and it's gonna have a controller in the box. You can, and that's gonna be. I think that's gonna be it. They didn't say too much about it, so in the announcement they basically just said here, look, that it's now we're working together again to create a limited edition Meta Quest inspired by Xbox.
Yeah.
So
okay.
It's a colored Quest with a
It's the
subscription
green one.
attached, and I think that's going to be it.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying I don't want one because it's going to look cool.
Yeah,
but
but I think it's like Bobby said, like that's a smart thing that they're doing because they're going to like it's, for instance, it's like one thing like if you have to make like hardware and you have to try to sell it, but if you have software that runs on many, like it gives opportunity for anybody else to create hardware for it. It's like they're kind of transitioning to like more of a software thing as a service, whatever, if you will, and making money. I think, like, to me, that makes more sense. And it's probably like you're saying, they probably want to have cheaper like models. They want to own like the Quest 3s. Like, I think if this becomes huge, I don't think they're going to care. You know what I mean? I think they're just going to be like, just use our OS. That's it. I don't care.
True.
Like, who cares
True.
about the hardware?
I mean, the more options, I'm all for the cheap ones. If we can get like $100 headset that's a VR headset, then I think that would be great because that just brings more people into VR, into at least into the VR pod. I mean, even if it doesn't have pass through and doesn't do all the AR stuff, even if it's a simplified six depth of field VR headset that can be $100, that would be amazing. So the other thing they talked about too was App Lab. So if you've used a Meta Quest before, you'll know that there's kind of two stores. There's the regular kind of what is now going to be the Horizon OS store, the Horizon store. And there's been this kind of side quest App Lab thing where a lot of apps kind of start out. They've said they're going to bring those, and it's really difficult to get into. You got to you do a whole bunch of stuff. You got to hook it up to a PC and do all this other. It's not for the average user. But they're saying that a lot of those apps are now going to be seen, or more of them are going to be seen in the Horizon store. So you can see some stuff there now. If you search for some stuff, you'll see some stuff and it's there. There's just not a lot of it. So it basically makes what is thousands of apps now into tens of thousands of apps because there's a whole bunch of stuff on the on App Lab currently. So that's cool. It's bringing in way more apps again. They do specify too on the store that they are App Lab. Like it's almost like getting early release to games kind of things. It's like stuff that's maybe not quite finished. A lot of it's free too, which is great. So I'm all for that. The more they can bring that stuff in, the better. Have you used any App Lab stuff, Paul, on yours?
To be honest, I knew about like SideQuest where you could load stuff, but I've never actually, this was news to me recently, and I was like, I've been missing out on so many newer like things that I was like, oh, there's not enough games of this goddamn thing. That now I'm like, oh yeah, that's amazing.
They're there, they're just hidden. So now they're going to be less hidden.
Yeah,
I guess that's the thing, which is great. I think that's awesome. And that store again will be available on all the hardware too. So that's nice. The fact that it's going to be on these other branded hardwares too. So Sarah, what do you think about the Lenovo one? You have any thoughts on that one? I know they're a big brand favorite of yours.
Right. Yeah. I've actually used the Lenovo one. Like it's an older one that connected to the PC, obviously. And I mean, it was fine. It's just, ran off the Microsoft VR stuff. So it ran off of the PC. So I think with kind of more a specific VR OS, I think that's going to help. It's going to help the ecosystem like we're talking about right now with apps because it's going to be able to go across multiple, just like Android or whatever. It's going to open up a lot more apps to be developed for the platform because there's more market share on the platform.
Yeah, I think this is going to be big. I think this is giant news for Meta. I think this is the thing that might save their metaverse. Like, I would have never predicted this, because who would have been like, yeah, just give the OS away? I wouldn't have guessed that, but kind of crazy. We'll see where it goes. So it's time to revisit something that we've talked about previously, I think at least a couple of times here, but today's a big day. We're going to revisit the latest on the US TikTok ban. So the TikTok ban bill, and that's apparently not a ban according to some people, because for legal reasons they click a ban. It has passed the Senate and was signed into law today by President Biden. So it passed the Senate with a vote of 79 to 18. It was packaged with a whole bunch of foreign aid in a bill. I really don't. It baffles me. I'm totally, and it seems baffles everybody else, including themselves.
Yeah, for sure.
But it was signed by President Biden this morning. So we're recording this on Wednesday, the 24th. So it was signed this morning. So what does this mean? It means it starts a 1-year clock, technically a 9-month clock with a plus 3-month extension if required. A clock that says that ByteDance must divest and sell to a US buyer. Remember, this was originally a 6-month window, and we said that ain't happening. Well, now they've extended it out to at least 9 to 12 months. So they do that, or they are banned from the US, or they get taken from the App Store. Hence, it's really banned. TikTok has said they will challenge this law in the US courts, but who knows what that means. And yeah, that's where we currently sit. So, Buddy, what do you think? What do you think the outcome is now, having looked back on this and there's been a little bit of more time on this? Sale or ban?
I don't know if it was the same text of the last bill. So I'm going to go on the last one. I read the text of the last one. I am worried about this. I do think TikTok should be banned, but it doesn't name just TikTok. It gives the government a lot of power to close down a lot of other apps, potentially, or companies that they don't like. And so I'm worried about that. But TikTok should absolutely get banned. I don't think anyone's going to buy it.
I think there'll be people who want to buy it. Yeah. But I don't think it's for sale.
I don't think it's going to be for sale. There's no way that Microsoft would get a hold of TikTok. Second, even if Microsoft, Apple, Google, Meta, all these companies attempted to buy it, I think it would get blocked in merger court.
It would. Could you imagine that? Trying to organize that?
They're not going to let them own it. And so, like, who can buy it? They're not going to let Elon buy it for sure.
No. You're right, because you're right. Who can buy it? Because what's its value? We talked about this before. It's more valuable than TikTok. I mean, more than Twitter, right?
TikTok's more valuable than TikTok? Weird.
More valuable than Twitter, right? So he bought that for 46 billion, or whatever it was, 43 billion. Whether it had that value or not, I don't know.
I was going to say, then now...
now it's worth like 12, but you know. But let's say that it's worth somewhere in that ballpark, right? It has to be worth in the 40 billions at least. You're right. Who can buy that?
I mean, you could see Amazon making a play since they don't own social media. So like Jeff Bezos could do it. But does he want to own TikTok? That's the other question. Like, does he want to? And then I'm sure could be a consortium of people, maybe a hedge fund or whatever that buys it, something like that. SoftBank and 10 of their friends could come in and buy it. But I am worried that they're going to like shut someone else down, and we'll just see. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe the government will do the right thing and it's just about TikTok, but we'll see if Twitter gets shut down or not.
I wonder if it's also like, I mean, if it's just a way of posturing, like for instance, like,
and it might not happen at all.
Maybe
it's like, right. We want to get A from China or some sort of corporation. So let's make this big move, give them plenty of time. Let's pop our chest. Let's do whatever. And then see what happens. Because I'll be curious to see, like, because if they go, like, knowing anything about anything, like how stuff works in legal markets, if like, or like in courts, if the government's going to try to pursue like a counter sue or whatever, like this could like drag on forever. And what is the service going to just continue to exist? And so it just becomes this like back and forth thing. But TikTok will just be TikTok. And so it's like, is it a way to kind of have like the side conversation about like, hey, take us seriously. This is the things that we want to do, or like, I mean. Or because to me, like when someone says we're going to ban something and then they say we're going to give you 9 months to do it, I'm like, oh, what the hell does it's like telling a child, I'm going to punish you in 9 months. Okay. But like you can do whatever the hell you
It
want
is
right
weird,
now.
isn't it? The time frame is very long, isn't it?
Yeah. It's insane.
It's just that you can't do a sale in like a week.
No, but
something like this. That's
here's
what they're saying.
The point with that I'm making is that then it's not that serious, right? If you could have this timeline,
this is true,
right? That take as much time as you need. That means that it's not as a serious risk as people or whatever like they're saying about it. To me, like just makes no sense. It's like there's got to be more to it, where it's more about like trying to maybe they're doing some sort of negotiation with China and they want to be like, oh, we're serious. Look, we're going to ban TikTok. It's just like, something that we might not be aware in the public. I don't know.
Well, yes. And that comes back to this quote right here, which even The Verge picked out of this thing right here. It says, and this is a quote from Mark Warner, Democrat from Virginia. He said, many Americans, particularly young Americans, are rightfully skeptical. At the end of the day, they've not seen what Congress has seen. Okay, Congress, tell us, please, what have you seen?
It's not
Congress,
like it's
who
rocket
can't
science.
figure out technology at all. They're the ones that can see what like we can't see. I mean, and I'm not a young American, obviously, but like what Bobby has said in the past is this is about who owns the data. Like they don't care; they just want to own the data.
Yep.
And so, what are the grounds for this? Is what I really want to know. Like, what grounds do you have to single out this company? And like, I think it was Bobby who was just talking about, where is it going to stop? Are you going to stop Lenovo? Lenovo's a Chinese company. Like, are we going to ban PC sales from Lenovo here? Like, where is it going to stop if we can tell TikTok what to do? Like, and I hate it. I hate it.
It's basically any foreign company operating in the US that collects data the US government has a problem with, apparently. TikTok is just the biggest. I agree. They're just the tip of the iceberg because there's hundreds, if not thousands, of companies doing this. Why do we ban one and not another?
So there's got to be like some sort of negotiation or something because China not too long ago banned Tesla vehicles from certain public places, and then they went ahead and my cat's wild, and then they were like, oh no, then they like walked back the ban. It's like if they're not like, because they know it's like it's a business that is making X amount of money, from having access to a new demographic. So when you scare people into saying like, oh, you're gonna lose all this money, it's like people be like, let's talk. Like, what do you actually want? So I think that's like what I'm sure there's like some hidden thing that we don't know about, because like if it was like I said before, it was like a serious like risk, they would have banned it and they would not give this crazy timeline. It's like when you give someone time, that's because you want opportunity for something to happen. Like it's me breaking up with someone, right? Like I'll give you 2 weeks, maybe she'll change her mind. And it's like, what are you doing? What do you do now? Just end it. Like, and that's why I'm like skeptic on this whole thing. It's just a bunch of game playing that we are not aware of. That but
clearly, clearly the government is though. And this passed like almost overwhelmingly in both House and Senate, and then the president signed it. That's like for a group of people who can't agree like what day of the week it is. They seemingly got this passed pretty quickly.
Yeah,
they can't figure out daylight savings time, and they got this one. I mean, can we deal with the more important issues? Let's come together and get rid of daylight savings time before we get into this.
Which makes me think there's something else, like Paul says, there's something else here at play, or there's something we just don't understand. And if it's something that we don't understand, they're saying, and literally saying in this quote, at the end of the day, they've not seen what Congress have seen. So if they've been in these like briefings where they've seen national security issues, tell us, what are we talking about here?
If that's the case, they should turn it off and then say, we'll see you in court.
Right. And it's not the case, is it? It can't be, because to Paul's point, you wouldn't let it sit there for 12 months more.
Yeah, it's like, well, in 12 months, they're not going to be able to get all of our secrets, because if for 13 months, god damn it, like they would have had everything done with 12
True,
months.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. No, it's just,
I think
it's...
We did let a spy balloon go over the entire United States.
You're right, before. Yeah, that's true. That's true. We did let it go across the whole thing, and then we're like, I think we should shoot that down.
Maybe we should.
The hardest thing I have, like, I'm not a politician, I don't know anything about politics, but like the thing is, like, when you're in a position where you might get knowledge that may allow you to make decisions to make lots of money, it's like, maybe, like, who knows what they're doing? Like, who knows? Like, for instance, like, it's just like, for me, it would be insider trader, but I don't know how the politics works. It's like,
well, yeah, you do. Insider trading is fine.
It's like, what are you talking about? I mean, just happened to buy Nvidia stocks before it blew up.
Yeah.
It's like, geez, how did it happen? I don't know. by accident.
Yeah, I totally predicted
Totally
that a
predicted
video
that
card
was gonna
company
happen.
was going to be.
Yeah, it's like, are you kidding me? It's got to be more than that. I think it's because of tensions between like China and like the world, and they're just trying to figure out and playing their games that they do. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's not
Well,
like
no social media companies in China, so I mean, like, we should probably ban it just because of that.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like. I know that seems wrong, but like,
I mean, to me, it's just a joke, because if it was a real serious risk, you would just turn it off right away. The fact that you have these timelines and these things, that's like,
I just wonder if we'll ever really find out what the real like reason is.
Mark Warner should tell us.
He should. Well, there's clearly hundreds of people who understand. There's at least 100 people in the Senate, and there's a bunch of people in the House who understand why they're banning this.
Why doesn't this leak?
There's no way possible they understand.
No.
Like,
Listen,
if you've watched those hearings, you're like, you don't understand technology even a little.
Some of them think they understand.
Whatever it is, I'm sure, because it's not going to happen 12 months from now. It's like, it's only if it's past the, I mean, the timeline. What's the timeline again? How many days? It's like,
it's 9 months and plus 3.
So specific.
TikTok's going to file an appeal. And like you said, it's just going to like go round and round the court system for like ever.
But think about that process too. Like, TikTok can file an appeal in court against something that has been ruled on by the House, the Senate, and the president. Literally the highest things in the country, but they can take it to court for what? Yeah. For how? Like, what's this is done, surely. This is done.
They can go to the United States, they can go to a district court and get an appeal of this law and say the law is unconstitutional and try to challenge it on constitutional grounds.
It seems insane, right?
That's
just not crazy.
No,
like,
I mean,
literally
I 100% believe that's going to happen. Yeah.
All of this is
not every law is legal. I think other people are going to challenge this law based on the fact that it's too broad, that it can cause other companies to be shut down.
For sure.
That's what people on the conservative side are scared about. They agree with the TikTok thing, but they're worried that, here's the conspiracy theory. Everyone's worried that Twitter is going to be next.
Oh, I'm good with that. Get rid of that.
I know. I was going to say, I don't think Kevin cares about that.
No. If this actually makes that happen, I'm good with that. That's fine.
Yeah, but
that's fine.
Social media platform formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah. So here we'll take a poll. Which one gets banned first? The conspiracy Twitter or TikTok? Which one actually goes out of business first?
Well, hold on.
I'm going to say social media platform formerly known as Twitter.
Which one gets banned first?
My vote is, or like my prediction, social media platform formerly known as Twitter. I'm going on record.
I think.
Oh, really? I'm going with TikTok, and Twitter goes out of business and then blames something else. That's what I'm guessing.
Well,
if TikTok gets banned like properly, like Twitter will become the next TikTok. Like, basically, like, it just, I don't know. It's insane. I don't know.
Yeah, I might change my vote. I think Kevin's right. Twitter's gonna go out of business.
Yeah, it'll go out of business, but it'll blame this.
Oh my god. Don't get me so excited. I hate Twitter.
But whatever, like, the platform that is going to be gone first, I am predicting is social media platform formerly known as Twitter.
Twitter.
You may be right about that too, but for different reasons. TikTok will somehow it'll get banned, but it'll be available because of some weird like loophole that says it has to be available for the next 5 years or something.
So it's not going to go away. You've got a VPN and it's fine.
Here's the thing that I'm going to say. Like, let's say TikTok gets banned. Let's say there's like something else made by the Chinese company that does something similar. It's like, well, is that not banned? Like.
Oh, that's going to get banned.
Instead of TikTok,
that already is.
TokTik's going to be the new thing.
TokTik.
Well, let's just take Temu as an example, right? Another Chinese company that, if that doesn't get swept up in this thing, I don't know what will, right? Because Temu is literally, I mean, its only job is to sell counterfeit goods from China to the US. It might as well just be its tagline. You want to buy knockoff Jordans? Go to Temu. Right? I mean, that's what it's used for. That's its number one use. I keep getting Temu ads all over the place for counterfeit stuff. Like, that's what it's used for.
So annoying.
If that's not going to get fixed because of this, then TikTok is a silly ban. Like, they should be looking at something like Temu, really. But maybe they're not collecting the same data. I don't know.
Sure.
The thing I don't like about the government is, like, we're worried about TikTok, and then if you think Chinese is this foreign investor, they own Smithfield Foods, for example. I don't know if you know this. They own AMC theaters too.
Sure.
They could cut off our movies and our access to chicken.
This could be a real problem.
Revolt.
If it goes tit for tat, yeah, TikTok we ban, they ban chicken.
There's going to be a revolution in this century.
I don't understand like what the end game is, because like if they ban
Data.
TikTok,
Bobby called it.
yeah. But I'm just gonna say, if they ban TikTok, China outsources so much stuff. Are they gonna be like, okay, we're gonna stop doing these things now? It's like, are they going to do like a trade war or like whatever? Like
the US would come to a standstill if we didn't rely on Chinese imports. I used to work in logistics, and the amount of import-export like difference between what we exported from the US and what we imported is massive. It is absolutely massive. We export very little. We import a massive amount of stuff, particularly from China.
And this is why this is like, whole thing is just like some sort of like dog and pony show that nobody knows why they're doing it, because we can't just make like, because of everything that China does, we can't just make a bargaining like that where China decides to just stop doing half the exports. We'll be in trouble. You know, they say like, yo, we can't have these goods anymore. So, and the fact that, you know, Kate coming back to this point, like if it was really a security risk, they would just turn it off, not give this 9-month like thing. So it's got to be something like, I'm sure there's some deal that they're scheming where everybody's going to make money, and they're just like trying to, you know, play the game and figure things out.
Paul's favorite topic. We're coming back to the Robodog flamethrower because it is now on sale. Remember last July we talked about this on this podcast, the flamethrowing Robodog known as the Therminator, and yes, that is his real product name, is now available for purchase. It is $9,420. And
Paul,
this
get
thing,
your credit card out.
This thing must be popular, right? Because earlier today, I tried this at 2 p.m. today, the website was down. And it was down from, it had the, you know, when you go to the website, it's been hit so much, it has the Cloudflare Are You Human thing. It had that on it. And then when after that, it said, nope, exceeded traffic. So they've literally gone over their traffic allowance for the website. So this thing's been hit like crazy. Or they've got a really low like traffic limit on their website, maybe. I'm not sure. But it got hit. So remember this is the quadruped robot with a flamethrower attached to its back. It's fueled by gasoline or napalm. That is correct. Napalm you can put in this thing. It now has some more specs. It has a 1-hour battery life, 30-foot flame. It has Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. That can't go wrong. Smartphone controlled, has LiDAR, and I think we knew that already, and a first-person camera view, so when you're setting fire to something, you can see what you're setting fire to. Did you guys know 48 states don't even regulate flamethrowers?
Oh my goodness.
I didn't know that. I was just reading that.
Wait,
oh my goodness.
what are the two that do? I want to know what the two that do.
Maryland, you can't get one.
Yes.
California, you got to have a permit.
California has a limit of 10 feet, which this surpasses.
How about New York?
New York's free for all, Paul.
Wow.
So
unbelievable.
the question is, Paul, how many of you ordered?
I'm trying to max out all my credit cards to get as many of them as possible. Let me ask a quick question. Is this a Chinese company?
Yes.
Right.
Let me ask you a
Getting
question.
banned.
Let me ask you a question. What
It is.
poses a more security risk? A robot with a goddamn flamethrower or dancing people on
TikTok.
TikTok with stupid makeup
Ice
videos?
bucket
Like, what
challenge.
do you think? What do you think? So if this is not banned and TikTok is banned, I don't understand what is happening, because here's the thing. Like, you buy the fact that it comes with a flamethrower, that just like insane. Like no, like what are the like? I mean, like,
can't even
He's
talk.
lost for words. He
I
doesn't even know what to say
It's
about
like,
this.
You know how many cats I'm gonna barbecue? No, I'm just kidding. Like, I'm not gonna barbecue cats. I'm just saying. But like, that is ridiculous. And also, what's crazy to me, it's like, it's an attachment that like you hook onto. So in theory, someone
this
could
is an
replace it.
existing Robodog, by the way. It exists. It's from a third party, and they are Chinese. It's a Chinese company. When we looked at these before last July, you can buy the robot dog on its own. The robot dog on its own was like $3,000 or something. It was much cheaper to get. You had to pay a tax to get in the US, but it was way cheaper than this is. I don't know why this is $9,400, by the way. Versus you can still buy the robot dog for about $3,000. So I don't know why attaching a flamethrower to it makes it $9,400. But there you go.
Flamethrower costs $4,000.
I mean, like, why? Like, and also, like, I mean, someone's gonna put guns on it for sure. Like, I mean,
I can tell you 5 reasons why right off their website. This tells you what it's for.
It does.
Wildfire control and prevention. Okay.
Yep.
Agricultural management. Okay. Ecological conservation, not sure. Snow and ice removal. That does seem overkill
Pest
for
control.
that.
If you have
That's the best one for me.
neighbors and you want to keep them off your yard, you get like 2 of these.
Hey, I don't want to shovel my driveway anymore. I'm getting this.
I was
Hey,
thinking about
buddy.
getting one of those fancy, like, electric
I mean-
snowblowers. Who needs that when you got this? It's way cooler.
Flamethrower.
I mean, you might set fire to your house while you're doing it, but it's way cooler.
I mean, if it was made for like actual use cases, why make the flamethrower look like a futuristic cannon?
Yeah.
It's like, who are you there? Jesus Christ, I want that thing
Yeah.
so bad.
Your house is just collateral damage.
I would
fine.
get this for security in my apartment. Like, just,
The one thing,
Trick or
Look
treat.
at it go. It's
The
like
look how
biggest worry
excited
for
it looks,
me-
by the way, just like happy.
it does.
I know,
It is very
right?
excited
It's
about
so-
it. The biggest worry
it's
for me
so-
on this whole thing, though, was Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You're telling me this doesn't get hacked?
Of course, it's going
Like-
to get hacked. Are you kidding me?
This is just this feels like a problem to me. You not only have you put a flamethrower on a Robodog, you've put it on the internet. That has to be a problem, surely. Couldn't you just make it Bluetooth only? Like, does it have to be Wi-Fi? Do I need to control this from across the like?
Well, it's a flamethrower. Yeah, you want to be as far away from it as
You
possible.
do.
But if you're not there with it, can I set this going in my
Like, I
driveway
need to
when
be
I'm out
longer
of the
than
grocery
Bluetooth.
store? But if I'm at the grocery store, can I use this at home? Like when I'm away from it, you shouldn't be able to.
Right. This,
You need 3 of them, so they rotate. One goes to the charger, the other 2 are in the
Yeah.
field, protecting the home base.
I mean,
Yeah.
it is insane. It's the fact that this is legal and TikTok is banned. I just lost for words.
I think when we talked about it before, I did say agricultural because I'm like, I have neighbors. I mean, I live in a fairly rural area that will burn their fields. And
Yeah.
like, I'm like, oh, I can see how this could be helpful in that situation.
Here's
but like very limited use
But here-
case.
Very
right.
limited.
Let's say that was the case. Wouldn't then it'll be like, well, when you purchase it, what is your use case? And you have to say, this is where I work. You have to like, and it's like, no,
Agricultural.
anybody could buy it. Anybody with a credit card could get it. So
Anybody with $9,400
Yeah,
can buy it right
$9,400.
now.
So when's
Um,
the first crime committed with this thing? Like next week?
Yeah.
Someone tries to like set something on fire with the
Oh
robot
my
dog.
gosh.
And it's like,
Oh my
who's
It's
gosh.
gonna make a
responsible?
crazy story. Yeah.
Look at this.
Well, the
Look at this
person
remote.
controlling it.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, this is a phone with a remote attached to it. Look, this is
Oh
like
my gosh.
somebody's really into this with the first person perspective camera look. Because again, you can
Well,
see what
sure.
you're shooting flames.
I mean,
at.
the
Yes,
thing
like a
baby.
is,
video game. Yeah.
what's crazy for me is like some crazy person could take the
Yeah.
flamethrower off and put a gun on it. It's like,
they could.
and now
We
they
talked
have a
about this
remote
before because
control.
it is a rail system.
Oh,
yeah, and
yeah,
now
it
is
they
a
have
rail
remote
system.
control. They
Yeah.
could do like all this, and it's just like insane to me that like this is like the fact that this is legal and TikTok is banned. That I still can't get past that. I just can't.
I know that's why I put
Past
these two
that.
stories together too, because it
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
like such a juxtaposition of
Yeah.
like TikTok, the fun, happy app we're banning, and Robodog. No, we're fine. It's fine. Flamethrowers, that's cool.
It's-
That's
Both from
fine.
China.
No threat. No threat.
Only in
It's fine.
America, man. I'm telling you,
My
this
goodness.
only in America does this happen.
I do
Yeah.
want one though.
Like the marketing on this page is just killing me. Like if you scroll back up a little
This
bit,
one's
Sure.
yeah,
great.
your
It's-
ultimate firepower companion.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I would literally buy that and then I would program it to work with my Oculus with my controllers, and I would patrol the neighborhood, keep it safe
That's
from
it, man.
children.
Keep
and-
it safe.
Paul,
Everybody.
I thought you had this rule though that anything that can spot faces, you shouldn't put a pointy stick on.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Definitely do that.
Like, I would literally if I got that. By the way, this is why I'm not going to get it because it's just nothing good's going to come out. Like the first thing I'm going to do
Sure,
is
Paul.
figure out how I could
No.
train it on people's faces so it could identify people automatically without me controlling it. And then
It has LiDAR, so I'm guessing,
and
yeah.
so it
Yeah.
can just certain people keep off my lawn. It's like, and like
It does look Skynet-y, though. I mean,
It really
look
does.
Skynet-y.
Very
It really
Skynet.
does.
It has a laser look. I mean,
so like to me, I think
iRobot.
we're very close to Skynet. I'm pretty much like sold that Terminator 1, 2, and 1 and 2 because the other movie sucked, but it's actually going to happen. I think this is the step. Speaking of Terminator,
We're getting
have you
there.
seen the new Atlas robot?
yes.
Insane.
Well, so they retired the old one, right? They put out this whole announcement saying that Boston Dynamics retired the old Atlas robot and it's going away. And then in the same, almost like the next breath,
Right.
like, oh yeah,
Check out
but
the new-
by the way, here's our new robot, and it's like way
T8000.
scary.
And
It's definitely gone from like the
T1000.
old one to the new one, and the new one is very scary.
the crazy part, they made it get up in this horror styles way that normal people shouldn't move. And it's like, now I'm going to have nightmares. Like, look how
They did.
Yeah.
It's very, very creepy.
look how it gets up.
Let's watch
This is like the last thing you see.
It's dead.
It's
Before-
dead.
You see.
I killed it.
Oh, no.
What the
Wait a second.
heck?
It,
No,
it went full nun on
that's
you, like
not
the nun, or whatever.
Yes.
It did a little yoga pose
It
first.
turned around backwards
Oh,
and looked
God.
at you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Kind of
it
scary.
looks like
So it has
that
like,
can like burn a hole
It
through
has some
anything.
laser shooter.
doesn't it?
They-
Like, right?
although-
So they retired the old one, and then in the very next breath, they're like, "But here's our new Atlas robot. This one apparently works fully on electric. There's no hydraulics on this too, so it's like it doesn't have those weak points that the old one had." It's getting scary.
So the other thing that's coming out too, I've been reading about sodium batteries, and these are the new battery tech that's coming out that can charge in seconds and keep a long charge. And supposedly the next iteration of lithium, it'll replace lithium, like 10,000 times cheaper than lithium. So we'll see if they invent battery tech that can run one of these things for 8 hours.
Yeah, we're all gonna have one.
yeah, I swear to God, these scientists.
If you have to plug it in, it's not very useful.
I was just gonna say, these scientists, they're.
Hate when
I was gonna say, like,
Go ahead.
really trying to make their dream movies that they grew up on realities.
Yeah.
They're literally
That's-
what would be?
But
my
unfortunately,
one
those
thing for the
movies are
world?
Terminator.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly.
bad one to try.
Exactly. It's like they said
Can we?
this wouldn't be possible, and then it's like dystopian society based on some kid wanting to just like.
Okay, instead of this, can we get a real hoverboard from Back to the Future, and
Yeah.
we can go with that
Agreed.
first,
Can
and
we not do
then
lots
we'll
of
make
good
the
things?
T1000. I mean,
Yeah.
come on,
Yeah, exactly. Why are we gonna go straight to Terminator
Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
and end all humanity? Why are we gonna? Why is that gonna be your favorite movie?
go with the hoverboard first.
I still don't know what good a robot is, though. I'm trying to think, like, what's the use case for this robot? What does
I
it
want to
do?
go grab me a cup of tea. Like now, it could be like robot tea, and it would go and make me tea
Okay.
and come back up. That would be
Terminator.
amazing. Like I would love.
I was
that.
gonna say,
Like,
Bobby, it's for
wait.
killing Sarah Connor.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
That's-
exactly.
Sarah
Right.
Connor.
I don't know what to tell you. We already know the use case for it.
Put a gun in its hand and then, you know.
Right.
I mean, like,
Go kill Sarah Connor.
I mean, Robodog's a start.
if
It's a start down that path.
yeah, if tomorrow they're gonna say we invented a time machine to be able to send the machines back to I'm like, okay, that's it. But it's.
We're done.
But what's interesting to me is that we are making massive improvements in the robotics technologies, and people are not focusing on that because it's like, because like when I see the trends of what people are doing, like if I was like some villain in a Bond movie and I wanted to, automate everything with robots, would be like the path I would be on, like create like AI and robots and make him cheap enough that companies, like instead of paying someone like, some of these jobs like at Amazon, whatever, I don't know how much to make, but like it'll be cheaper for them just to get machines.
Yeah.
Paul, you already have the right accent for a Bond villain.
Yes.
You're just like right on your way.
I would say the current, like where AI sits right now, like large language model AI, combined with a robot, has really pushed robotics further than robotics kind of hit a wall, right? It could like produce stuff in a factory and do that kind of stuff, but it could never make any kind of like decisions. Now with an LLM, you can you've given it at least a partial decision engine that it can now make, and that's
Bad decisions.
that's creepy.
By
Well,
the way.
it can make any decision. It can make any decisions. That's
Just
kind of
make it up
creepy.
if it-
But
just make up my own
it
decisions.
can, and that's where we're going to go. I think we're going to see these robots, and they're going to be combined with LLMs, and they're going to be making decisions. I just don't know if I trust the decisions it can make.
And then
When it can
Power is the
actually
big
take action.
thing, though. If we can't power it, then they're kind of DOA. If you have to plug it in, it's just not going to work.
But here's
I think we get there,
another
though. I
thing
think the
that,
power
like, not to
thing
get
solved.
to like whatever, people have their opinions, but people like global warming, and they like, how's global warming cause? Like, we use too much energy, and now they're talking about this gigafactories that power these LLMs. Well, how do they operate? Do they not need energy? They're going to influence so I like
Nuclear. We talked about it before.
I like
Microsoft says they're going to have to put nuclear reactors beside wherever Azure and this thing's running. They're going to have to. They're like putting a whole city into that.
But that's crazy how if it's like they pick and choose, like this is okay because this helps us to move our revenue forward, and this is not okay because like it's just like it's insanity. But I think like I like I said, I called the dystopian future from day one. They called it. I said it.
I mean, you're certainly heading that way.
Yeah.
I hate when my murderous robot runs out of batteries.
I know exactly. You know.
Okay, it's the time of the week to do recommendations and null, not null section. I'm going to go down the list here then. Bobby, you're first on my list. So what you got?
So this week I am working on a lot of things, but I'm using a service to create documentation called bit.ai. And you're showing what I'm doing. It's the coolest thing. So I'm documenting a course that I'm making, and this is the documentation we're using. Really slick.
Cool.
The AI integration isn't that great, but that's not really why I use it. But it's pretty good though. It's easy to make documents, and then you can make the documents shareable. You can make the documents secret. So like in our course at Coder Foundry, when we have a documentation about something, this is how we create the document, and we send them a link. And if we change it, it automatically changes, obviously, because it's a web page. So it's pretty slick.
I love the fact they called it 3.0 by just shoving AI into it.
Yeah.
But
it's all you need for the next version.
It is. Yeah. They've gone from 2 to 3. And like, what was the big upgrade? AI.
The craziest thing is like every companies trying to use AI, and they're all bad implementation. There's a bunch of services I've been using where I was like, it creates more effort for me because I have to fix things after the fact. It's not perfect. It's okay, but it's not perfect. And it's
this
fun.
one at least is a writing tool, so it can write and it give you. This one gives you decent outlines, doesn't it? If you start with a blank piece of paper and ask for an outline of a certain topic, it'll give you an outline. So for me, it's like one of those, for AI, for everything for me, is like an idea generation. So the fact that this idea generation within the tool kind of works for me, although the suggestions that it gives you a lot of times is just junk.
So the cool thing about it, though, is unlike ChatGPT, if you say, write me a summary of, object-oriented programming or whatever it is, and it can create it, and then you have to pull that in a document, and you have to format it. This will format it ahead of time with the template inside your thing. Yep. And so now you have this, even if it's all lorem ipsum, at least the document's formatted. And if you've ever tried to format a document in Word, it'll make you want to run off and jump off a bridge, because you're trying to, the table doesn't line up or whatever. So this is really easy
this
to
is
do.
Definitely better for that, definitely.
Yeah.
They called the AI Genius, by the way. They might want to rethink that name. Just Genius seems a little bit of a stretch. But
keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
Exactly.
I think we should call it AI Billy, because
yes, it's very, very average.
North Carolina Billy, I'm sorry if your name is Billy, but you know who I'm talking about. So
well, it's the everyman, isn't it? It should be the AI everyman. You don't need to claim genius. You don't need to claim genius. Just be the everyman. Just be the AI. That's all right.
I can write that document. Hold my beer.
Exactly. Yeah, that's it.
AI Billy.
That's it. That's exactly this. Yeah, AI Billy. Yeah, hold my beer, AI.
It's gonna be my new app, AI Billy.
Perfect.
That'll be awesome.
I love it. Okay, Paul, what you got this week?
Oh, I got these Rhodes, I guess I don't know what the hell you call them, headphones, monitor headphones. And
okay,
how do they do in the bathtub?
So here's the thing, they're good quality sounding, but the way, how the hell you put them in, it's just they never fit right. You got to twist them. And so I just don't get them. I'm and so it's like a null and a not null at the same time.
Is that an in-ear monitor? Is it a monitor? Is that what it's for?
Yeah.
For
here is set up. It's it's not quite fit around my ear well. And then this only adjusts one way. It's just, I always have a hassle putting them on. I'm like, oh God, what is happening?
Yeah, I know you've tried a whole bunch of these, haven't you, Bobby? Because you have the problem with one ear doesn't quite fit right. And mine's kind of similar. This one's always kind of falling out of my ear, even for these I have these cheaper ones, but they're always kind of it's always doesn't fit quite right. I know.
By the way, I buy the expensive
thrown away
ones.
ears.
I bought the ones for $99.
That's it right there. Those $15. I've had expensive ones and thrown them away. I've tried them all.
So that's the funny part. The ones I'm wearing right now, they're like super cheap, like Chinese knockoff. They're like fine. You buy something more expensive, you're like, what is going on?
Yes. These ones. They're not even these ones. These are actually the upgrade ones. There's another. There's a cheaper one
think
on the Mi store.
For me, like $50 is like a good sweet spot.
I'm telling
these
you,
ones
$15. Get those. It's what's in my ear right now.
That's what I'm wearing too.
Unbelievably good.
Wow.
Like
they're actually less. Look, it's a 5% off coupon.
Oh my
You get them right now, like even
free.
better.
So
Practically
cheap.
free. Well, listen,
I bought two pairs of these because the first set I actually lost the little ear thing from it. It fell into a black hole that never. I don't know where they are. There's an earbud around here somewhere. So I'm like, oh well, that sucks. I'll buy another set. It was like $13. Like it doesn't matter.
If
Right.
it was
Like
the true
trash
story.
again.
True story. Kevin had some in-ears in his ear, and I was wearing like different things or whatever. I was like, I know I'll get some, and he goes, and you said, I got these ME knockoffs. I'm like, I don't want the budget thing. I'm gonna get these more expensive ones. So I had Sennheiser, Shure. I tried them all, and then finally I bought these, and I'm like, man, these just fit and work.
it's
What
fun.
am I doing? The other ones are $180.
Oh my
Like,
God.
what am I doing?
So there's this like question, like, what the hell
Yeah.
are we paying for?
I know.
It's like,
I don't
like,
know.
what are we buying?
I mean, maybe they're not audio fidelity great.
Yeah.
But for doing what we're doing
Yeah,
right
it's
now,
perfect.
listening to you
Perfect.
guys, it's
Fine.
perfect.
I mean, if you're at a concert and you're like, even then, man, does it have to sound great for you to hear the music and your guitar or whatever? I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I think, there's audio. I mean, there are better ones. So I don't use these to like do any kind of editing with or anything like that.
No,
I use
nothing like that.
I use a set of Bear Dynamic on cans, 770 Pros, which are way better than, $100, $150, something like that. Like they're good cans. These are just perfect for doing video calls because you can't see them. They're just kind of like, it just looks better than having giant big things on your ears when, Mr. Podcaster. The big
Yeah.
Yeah.
Princess Leia is how I
Yes.
end up.
yeah,
going.
exactly. Yes, exactly. Okay. Sarah, what you got this week?
Okay, so as much as we're disparaging on the government this week, I'm going to say that my not null is the American justice system. And that is because I am obsessed with watching live court, like actual live court. And that's just not available in other countries where you can like watch a trial live. I mean, right now,
You watch
yeah.
Court
like,
TV a lot.
I generally like court with commentary. So my favorite is Emily D. Baker. Like, so if you look at Emily D. Baker, she has like a ton of subscribers on YouTube. Just amazing. Like she's a former prosecuting attorney from LA, and she'll just comment on live court or court documents. And I just think it's really important that the public is able to see the inner workings of the justice system, because I am a firm believer in innocent until proven guilty. And so there's some court cases where the jury did not find them guilty, even though I personally feel like they are probably guilty, but I could see that the court, the prosecutor did not prove it. And if they didn't prove it, then they should not have been convicted. So I love watching it, and yay for the American justice system.
Some of them are public. Some courtrooms are, and some aren't.
It's true. Well, so federal court is not public, but most criminal court is. They don't all have a live feed, but
Right.
but you can if you live in the area, you can go to the court and watch the trial. Just as a citizen, you don't have to, be involved in the case at all. So this Corey Richins one, down there, that no deal. That's just here in Utah. I could go to that trial and sit there and watch the trial live.
Now, who's Corey Richardson? What did he do?
She killed her husband.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
Well, I mean, again, innocent till proven guilty. She is accused of killing her husband. She has not gone to trial yet. But then she she killed the husband, but it wasn't discovered. She poisoned him with fentanyl or something like that. And then she wrote a children's book to help her children cope with the grief, and was promoting this children's book.
Wow.
Yeah, that's why it's like
Premeditated
popular.
much.
Wow.
Well, yeah.
Okay, so I will
So-
say there's one thing kind of missing from here. There's a pretty high profile trial happening. Like right
I would
now
love
with,
to see
with
that.
a
If
former
I could,
president, but
if I could watch that, I would watch it every day.
she's not made any commentary on it either, which is interesting. I
Well,
don't
so
know if, like
her thing is like
celebrity stuff.
basically, yeah.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
not
So, like,
celebrity
it's a
enough,
lot
that's
of-
what it is. Sucks.
Wow.
Oh my
Don't-
God.
I mean,
Well, that's
I mean,
What a
I mean, don't get
burn.
me wrong. I'm not for like, you know,
That's more political than I think she's like
think-
willing to get into.
and I think that's,
but-
and I'm wondering if that's the thing. Yeah, it like
Yeah.
polarizes your audience too much, so it's like you just
Right.
don't go there at all. And she's chosen not to go there, which I kind of respect, I guess. She's like,
Yeah.
just doesn't want to cover it at all. There's plenty of people
Right,
covering
right.
it. My not null for this week. I am going with, in line with our first story this week, going with the Quest 3 for two reasons. One, because it's a great VR headset. I'm not sure I've actually recommended the headset before. I've recommended the
You
bracket
have.
before. I have, but I'm going
Oh,
with it
maybe
again.
you
I think
did
I've recommended the bracket.
Yeah,
but I don't think I've
might be it.
recommended buying the headset. I would definitely recommend getting a Quest 3, and if you don't feel like you want to drop $500 on it, get a Quest 2. They're like $200 now. They're ridiculously cheap. They really are. The reason I'm picking it is because if it didn't exist, I would be $3,000 poorer because I would have purchased
Oh.
a Quest Pro. I know I would. I guarantee you I would. The reason that I don't is because this serves enough of my mixed reality VR AR itch to just have this, and it's $500.
Did you mean Vision Pro?
Vision Pro? Yeah. What did I say?
You said Quest Pro.
It's
Yeah,
just
Vision
as-
Pro.
yeah.
Yes, I would have bought the Apple product.
Figured you meant.
Yeah,
figured
I,
what you
I
meant.
would have bought the $3,500 Apple product. So this saved me $3,000. So that's why it's my not null this week.
Love it.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm not saying that I won't buy the $1,500 Asus gaming version when it comes out, but you know, it's so even then it still saved
Save you
me
$1,500.
Exactly.
That's
Exactly.
That's
It's
some
a saving.
good boy math right there. Or tech
That
math.
is.
I think that's tech
It's
math.
tech math. Yeah, it's tech math. Very true. We should do that. Should be a segment. We should do a
Tech
tech
math.
math segment.
I love it. Yes.
That's it for this week's episode of the Not No Podcast. I can ask you to do a couple of things if you would not mind. Please let a friend know about the podcast. Do them a favor. Let them know that it's a podcast that's great and it's the greatest thing you've ever heard, and they should go and download every episode, listen to every one. That would be amazing. Also, leave us a review. Leave us a 5-star review somewhere, wherever you listen to your podcast. If they allow for reviews, it helps us if you leave a review. That would be great too. You can also send us an email. Where can they send the email to, Sarah?
The Not Null Podcast at AOL.com.
That is correct. And we will see everybody next week.
Inner Worlds in OS. Horizon OS. Horizon OS. Horizon OS. Horizon OS. In a world that's digital, expanding day by day. Meta's got a vision to evolve the emer play. Open up the gates, let innovation